Okay, you're going to box for 10 rounds. You know the rules of boxing. Avoid using any kinds of foul. Don't throw any punches during the break. Okay, seconds come out fighting.
So rather quick on the instructions. Over in that red corner, Joe Ruelaz will be coming out. Ruelaz has not fought for a while. He goes up against a toughie, though, here in Freddie Roach. Roach in the blue. In round one, scheduled to go 10. A long, long layoff. How much of an effect will it have on the man going against Roach here tonight, Al Bernstein?
Well, I think that that year layoff could be have a pretty big impact on Ruelaz. He's fighting a fighter in Freddie Roach who is obviously crafty, a good fighter. Not a top 10 contender at this point, but a fighter who can give just about anybody problems. And because of that ring experience, you have to believe that it's going to be a tough test for Ruelaz.
Roach, at only 24 years of age, at one time was a super bantamweight top-ranked fighter before moving up into the weight class here in the junior lightweights. But he has just been on the verge of greatness, losing a lot of close decisions, certainly indicated by our flashback tonight here on ESPN.
Well, it's very hard for Freddie Roach to be in a bad fight. And, of course, his last fight, June 12th, here on ESPN, 12-rounder with Tommy Cordova for the junior lightweight ESPN title. I don't know, that might have been the best fight I've seen in the last couple of years for pure action.
We have filed that one for a future flashback. It was that good.
That's for sure.
It was a classic.
Good jab and a right hand by Ruelaz. He has a good jab. He has a good straight right. Excellent left hook by Freddie Roach.
Roach just kind of biding his time. Ruelaz, however, kind of flipping that left jab of his own, doing good damage with it.
He's getting in early, and again, we've seen Freddie so many times. The big knock against him is that his defense is not that great, and he does tend to get hit a lot.
Halfway through this, the first, scheduled for 10. Ruelaz, a very straight-up type fighter. Freddie Roach, you see, kind of bobbing, weaving, ducking in, and that opens up a target for Ruelaz, even though the left hand of Roach slipped in that time.
Freddie is eating jabs from Ruelaz, that's for sure. Freddie's getting in some good shots, but Ruelaz, I think, would like to have Freddie on the outside. There's some good work on the inside by Roach. Freddie can fight either way, and he's a good inside fighter, but he doesn't have devastating power. So even when he bangs you on the inside, sometimes it doesn't have as much of an impact as he would like.
One of the things we noticed in coming to Las Vegas, not that he was eluding us by any stretch of the imagination, but Freddie was a little bit more low-key this time in coming in. Always a delight to be around, but he wasn't doing a lot of talking at the weigh-in today. He said, I'm going to do it in the ring tonight. I'll let that do my talking, and so far, in round one, he's done well. Not a boastful fighter in any stretch of the imagination, but again, not doing a lot of talking today.
Well, I think he knows this is a very important fight for him. It is literally do or die, I would think, in terms of him either really falling back into the journeyman category or still having some hopes to move into contention.
Time winding down here in round one, set for 10 junior lightweights on the card tonight from the Sports Pavilion at the Showboat Casino Hotel Country Club, if you will. Roach powering in with a couple double-up lefts. Ruelaz against the ropes, comes out, throws a right hand over the top of Roach. And there's the bell to end round one.
His right hand, and he gets hit with the other guy's left hook, as we saw a moment ago.
Joe Ruelaz comes out. Al Bernstein, as he answers the bell for round two, he did not look that rusty since not fighting since October of '83.
Well, that first round was an important round for him because you can get caught cold, you can be rusty and run into some problems, but he didn't fight that badly. He did establish his jab, was able to land it often, and so had a fairly good round against Freddie. The Roach jab is in mothballs. That's what Eddie Futch wanted him to use more of, because when he backed Ruelaz up with that jab, he was effective.
One key word, stay busy. Left hand that time by Roach, backing Ruelaz up.
You know what Freddie's doing, and he did it there again. Instead of using the jab to work his way in, he is using the left hook, throwing it to the body and the head. He could get hit with a counter right hand coming in that way. I don't know why he doesn't jab coming in. His jab was working.
Got hit with a pretty good right that time, as he did kind of wade in. Left right combination by Freddie Roach in the blue. Ruelaz, nice amateur record of 90-10. Comes to tonight's fight with that 13-1 record and 12 knockouts.
Well, he won a series of New England Golden Gloves titles. He comes from the New England area. He's been out in Vegas here for several years. And so he had a good amateur career, as did his brothers Joey and Pepper Roach, who we've also seen here on ESPN.
By the way, if you're interested in the weights, Roach at 130.5, Ruelaz at 128.5. Junior lightweights. They're set for 10. This is round 2.
Freddie Roach should get a stern lecture from Eddie Futch about not using that jab when he comes back. He's got a good jab, and I think it's a punch that could help him get inside against Ruelaz, which I think ultimately is where he wants to be.
Approaching the 1-minute mark here of round 2. Jackie McCoy again working in Ruelaz's corner across the way, along with Joe Tovar and Mark Krebs. Carlos Padilla, the referee, off the break. Good straight right hand that time by Roach. A good left-right combination got inside from Ruelaz, I think.
Ruelaz is using the jab and the straight right as he was during part of that first round and finding some success with it.
Junior lightweights start to pick up a little bit more of the emotion of this fight here in round 2.
Well, Roach is doing what Eddie Futch didn't want him to do. He's waiting around outside. Exactly what you see him doing.
Fighting off that clinch, Ruelaz comes storming in with a straight left hand. Roach trying to stay downstairs as much as he can, and as he doubles up, Joe Ruelaz is just teeing off on his head. So round 2 has been a little bit more eventful than round 1. Maybe that's a preview of round 3 just around the corner.
Freddie Roach in that last round lunging in with that left hand, that left hook. That is not what he's supposed to be doing. He should be jabbing his way in, and I think it's going to cost him in this fight. Joe
Ruelaz in the white, Freddie Roach in the blue. Junior lightweights, 3rd round, scheduled for 10. Al Bernstein scoring all of our fights unofficially, even though in the last fight that was ruled a draw, he was right on at 58-58. How about this one, Al?
Oh, this one just as close so far. I gave the first round to Roach, second round to Ruelaz, and I've got the fight dead even.
By the way, between rounds, I did do my traditional bow to Mr. Bernstein, who was right on the scoring of the fight.
You don't have to kiss my ring. It's not necessary.
After watching you go through the buffet today, I don't care to kiss that ring.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. One of those nights I can see.
A warning here from Padilla.
Don't wrestle, okay? Okay.
This is on the clinch. When Mr. Padilla wants him to break, he wants him to break.
Now, Carlos Padilla is the kind of ref who will let them fight on the inside. He'll slap their gloves away and let them fight. This should benefit Freddie Roach, who is generally a fairly good inside fighter.
Ruelaz, again, keep in mind, has not fought since October of '83. The longer this fight goes, it would have to go more or less, I would believe, to Freddie Roach.
You would feel it would benefit Freddie Roach. He's been in just a series of longer fights, including several 12-rounders, and has often been strong near the end.
We're a little over halfway through this, the 3rd.
Some people theorize that Freddie has been through so many wars in the last year or so against Cordova, Palacios, Louis Burke, really 2 fights with Louis Burke, a couple with Danny Cruz. He's been in some very, very tough fights, and people say, well, maybe the next time he's out, it'll just be too much for him. All those fights will take their toll on him. We'll see. He's not started out real sharp in this fight. He's not putting his hands together, putting his punches together as well as he'd like, not moving his hands that much, and not really vintage Freddie Roach so far.
Al, I think you hit it right on the button when you were saying he has not led with a good straight jab yet. It's more or less the hooks, either the left or the right hook he's leading with.
Now there's a good right hand and a left hook by Roach. He's banging away now, and he's angry about something Ruelaz is doing in there.
Ruelaz with the left hand to the head of Freddie Roach with 30 seconds to go in round 3. Freddie Roach again has had a good 3rd round here, but so has Ruelaz. Closing seconds here of round 3. Junior lightweights are set to go 10 here tonight at Las Vegas, and we'll continue with more in a moment.
Freddie Roach in that last round landed that right and left toward the end of the round. Those were his 2 best punches of the night, and maybe that gave Ruelaz some respect for his punching power.
So it's Freddie Roach, Joe Ruelaz. Get ready for more action here in round 4. Junior lightweights, record for Roach 34-6 with 11 knockouts. Ruelaz 13-1, 12 knockouts. Again, has been very inactive, however, since October of '83, while Roach against Tommy Cordova. Ruelaz, by the way, was supposed to fight Cordova, if I'm not mistaken, Al, on this same card, but Cordova had some trouble with the hand, so here's Freddie Roach in the ring.
I'll tell you what, getting in there after he watched the films of the tapes of the Cordova-Roach fight, I don't know if I'd want to get in there with either of those guys. It was brutal in there that night. But Ruelaz, of course, wants an opportunity, and I guess you have to say that in some respects, fighting Freddie Roach is less of a challenge than Cordova, only because Cordova just keeps coming. There's no way to discourage that guy. He's constantly moving forward. Well, there's some blood on the nose of Freddie Roach. What else is new? In almost all his fights, either bleeds from the nose or around the eyes.
Ruelaz, by the way, when asked by Al Bernstein during the weigh-in today if Freddie Roach might be a little too much of a fighter to come out against, he said, hey, it's a fight, and I need a fight badly.
Well, and indeed he does. That year layoff caused not by injury, really, but more of just him not getting into the swing of things. Jackie McCoy's manager said he just was in the gym sporadically, and they couldn't get any really good fights. And just one of those things that happens in boxing where fighters just lay off for a while, and it never does them any good.
Freddie Roach missing with the right hand. Ruelaz is flipping that left jab over the top of Roach, and as Al pointed out, of course, the blood around the nose of Freddie Roach. Roach with a good left hand as he hooked it in there again.
Freddie Roach is taking punches as he's coming in to deliver those wide looping punches. I really think some of that could be avoided if he'd use his jab more. He's just not using that punch at all. He wants to knock out Ruelaz with one punch, and he's not a knockout.
Oh,
there it is.
The right-left hand combination. And Ruelaz is down in the center of the ring. He hops to his feet as Carlos Padilla gives him the 5 count. But what a beautiful left-right combination by Roach that sends Ruelaz to the canvas. Another right hand slipped in. Another right. This fight could be over as Roach goes to his corner. The count is at 4. Ruelaz getting up slowly. He's visibly staggered. It's over. And Freddie Roach has put him away in the 4th with a left-right combination on a couple of occasions. He got back up on a count on an 8. Then got back up, and here it is.
Well, there was the overhand right, the first one that hurt him. He added a left hook for good measure. Ruelaz was in trouble. It was the right hand again by Freddie Roach that did the damage for the second knockdown. And at this point, Ruelaz was just in all kinds of trouble. And whether Freddie Roach is a power puncher to other people or not, he is to Joe Ruelaz.
Well, let's get the official time of the 4th round. Knockout by Freddie Roach, and here again is Chuck Hall.
Stops the bout at 2 minutes, 45 seconds of the 4th round. The winner by a TKO, Freddie Roach.
Very popular fighter here in Las Vegas, even though it's Dedham, Massachusetts. It's his hometown. He fights out of Las Vegas. 73-year-old Eddie Futch may have been given a nice birthday present by one of his fighters as Freddie Roach comes out with the knockout. Well, our man Al Bernstein will be in the ring to talk to Freddie Roach as we'll continue with more in a moment.